mailbox for the latest edition of Young Rider. Just about everything I do revolves around my horses and caring for them. One day, while reading the Horse and Pony Problems portion of the magazine, I was surprised to learn about a common practice known as soring, a form of horse abuse. This practice harms these gentle giants. Hi, my name is Grantham, and I'm a senior freight in Morgan County and currently attend Morgan County High School as a sophomore. Horses are my passion, and so is the subject I will speak with you about today. Before I inform you of this less-known type of horse abuse, I'll remind you of the more commonly known types of horse abuse. These types include training abuse and riding abuse. Training abuse is when pain is inflicted on a horse to make training easier, and riding abuse is when a horse is forced to work for excessive amounts of time. This type can occur when performance horses are excessively whipped or spurred. Neglect is also a very common form of horse abuse. Neglect is caused when a horse isn't provided adequate food, water, shelter, or care. Thousands of horses are starved and live in terrible conditions because they can't be paid for. Winter is a prime time for unwanted and malnourished horses. The main reasons for a horse to be neglected or abused is because of the owner's lack of knowledge, their lack of funds to properly pay for the necessary care, or the owner's desire for fame and money as a result of the horse's performance in competitions. This brings up the concept that many people aren't educated enough when purchasing a horse. I know from my own experience of owning my own 2 horses that these animals require a lot of time, money, and responsibility. Many of these abused, neglected, and unwanted horses are taken from their cruel owners and are sent to impound barns, where they will go through rehab to restore their body's malnourishment and therapy to counteract the abuse they've endured. Once these horses are healthy and stable again, they're sent to auctions, where they will hopefully be placed into caring homes. However, some people at these auctions aren't informed enough when purchasing a horse. Thus, they use auctions to buy these horses at a less expensive price. Over the past few years, I've been given the opportunity to visit the Decatur and Mansfield equine impound barns. This was a great yet sad experience that opened my eyes to all those horrors inflicted on these creatures in this practice. This was my personal experience through being involved in horse-related programs in 4-H. We need to work to make more people aware of these illegal criminal acts. For me to have the opportunity to attend state congress and give this speech in the Capitol would be a great way for me to further share this information with the public. Many people who are willing to take a stand against these harmful practices are involved in programs like the GERL, or Georgia Equine Rescue League, and Humane Society. Members of these organizations work to help combat and enlighten people about horse abuse and neglect. Today, I will talk to you about a practice known as soring, a form of horse abuse. This is me doing my part to stand up about only one of the many forms of horse abuse. First, let's define what soring is. Soring is any pain intentionally inflicted upon a horse to make it perform in a certain way. The most common breeds affected by this practice are the gaited horse breeds. This practice is widely found in the dressage industry, but can also be found in hunter jumping and western pleasure. There are usually vets at these events checking over the horse's body and legs to see if it's undergoing any type of soring. However, the owners and trainers of these animals would disagree with the local vet's examinations and would sometimes leave the event without participating at all. Now, federal vets have permits, so they are required to give an examination over the horses. Now, let me tell you about the 2 types of soring, mechanical and chemical. First is mechanical soring, which is using a harmful item, like a chain, to soar a horse. Some types of mechanical soring are chains, pressure shoeing, road foundering, caning, and denerving the horse's tails. Chains that weigh 6 ounces are legal and are put on for a show, but while at the barn a week prior to the show, the heavier chains, illegal, are strapped on the horse's leg and left on for that entire week. Thus, when the horse arrives at the show, it is when the lighter weight of legal chains are strapped around, the horse's leg is already sore, so that when in the dressage class, when the lighter chains hit their legs, it hurts them, causing them to lift their legs higher for this class. Next is pressure shoeing, which is the filing away of the hoof wall almost to the quick, so that the metal shoe is placed directly onto the sensitive sole of the hoof, causing intense and unbearable pain and suffering each time the hoof touches the ground. Road foundering is similar to pressure shoeing. However, in addition to filing the hoof to the quick and shoeing, the horse will then be ridden up and down a hard flat surface, like an asphalt road, until it is hurting and limping. There's also a practice known as caning. used in hunter jumping, which is hitting the horse in the cannon, which would be like our shins, right before it jumps. This makes the horse think it has to clear the jump at least a foot higher than necessary, or he will get hit with a cane pole. This is yet another illegal practice, but unlike the methods mentioned before, it is only used in training. This practice ensures that the owners and trainers that win in the show, the horse will clear the jump with room to spare. One more form of this illegal practice is found in Western pleasure classes. The owners and trainers of these animals will de-nerve their horses' tails so that the horse doesn't excessively switch his tail around while in the arena. There's also chemical soaring, which is the most common and permanent type of soaring. Some of the chemicals used are mustard oil, crotonol or croton oil, fuel oil, and collodion. These chemicals are very harmful to us humans, but also to the horses. These chemicals burn the horse's skin, thus it snatches its feet and legs off the ground as if they were on fire. Mustard oil is the most commonly used soaring product, but has no relation to the mustard found in your refrigerator, except that it is a yellowish substance. Crotonol, also known as croton oil, is so strong that it is cut with kerosene before being applied to the horse's leg and burns to the bone. Because of its high absorption rate into the intestinal tract, it can and does cause colic in horses. How many show horses have you heard of that have died of colic? Fuel oil, also known as diesel fuel, diesel oil, and furnace oil, is not a chemical on its own, but is made up of a mixture of hundreds of compounds. Kerosene is like furnace oil, also used for chemical soaring. Collodion is a new chemical product that has just recently been introduced into soaring. It cannot be dissolved in water and is a pale yellow, syrupy liquid, which when applied to the horse's legs after the deeper burning chemicals described before, forms an airtight seal, thus doing a more complete job of soaring. This has eliminated the need for plastic wrap, which has been banned. And if it's found at a trainer's barn, it's a dead giveaway that soaring is taking place. Please note that this is an extremely hazardous material, and is just one more proof of the dangers of soaring. Many of these chemicals listed above are extremely toxic. They are immediately dangerous and corrosive to your health. These chemicals described above that are used in most soaring practices are at the very least terribly damaging to humans, if not fatal. The owners aren't applying them, the trainers aren't applying them, but someone is. How many stable boys or grooms are risking their lives by handling these harmful chemicals? And more importantly, how many of them know the health risk involved? They are usually absorbed into the body through inhalation and skin contact. Health effects caused by inhalation are asthma-like symptoms, including rapid breathing and rapid heartbeat, eventually resulting in a heart attack. When in contact with the skin, it is corrosive and can cause skin cancer. These chemicals can also cause other types of cancer, along with effects on the intestinal tract and nervous system. They will also cause headache, nausea, convulsions or seizures, coma and unconsciousness, and confusion. It causes blurred vision in horses, which may be the cause for the white eyes on show horses, along with colic, dizziness, suffocation due to lack of oxygen, and lowering of the blood pressure. Prolonged use and overexposure will eventually cause death. As you can see from only some of the health effects involved with the use of these chemicals, exposure with these substances in any way is very harmful to your health as well as the horses involved. So if soaring has all these negative health effects on the horses and humans, what are some of the legal penalties a part of these practices? The Humane Society of the United States offers a $10,000 reward to any person leading to the conviction or arrest of any violator. Violators can spend up to 2 years in prison and receive fines up to $5,000. Beginning in 2010, a girl I worked closely with in my county was spending multiple days a week in the Capitol buildings trying to get the current equine abuse law passed, changed so that it would read that the people who are involved in these practices doing the damage on their horses are guilty and need greater punishments rather than just a day or two in jail and a fine, which your taxes pay for. The horse is taken away from them and placed into an impound barn. But the previous owner who inflicted the pain is able to buy the horses back. Unfortunately, with all the efforts and supporters of this act, there apparently wasn't enough. The bill didn't pass because it never made it to the floor of the legislature. This girl wanted to change the current bill, but it didn't happen. Now we are all starting to realize the costly effects involved with this practice. television, I'm sure many of you have heard of or seen shows displaying scenes of animal abuse like ASPCA and animal cops. Your local humane society also helps to rescue animals that have been a part of these practices. These are all real programs that work to combat animal cruelty and legally hold those responsible who inflicted the pain. Soaring is a widely used form of horse abuse that many people aren't informed about. Now that you all know about it, it's your job that if you spot it going on at a show, you should immediately report it to the show management or the local police department. Soaring is unacceptable and there's never a reason to soar a horse. Now, I would like to thank you for your time and the opportunity to share with you. If you have any questions or would like any further information, I'll be happy to help you at this time or point you in the right direction for even more information. Thank you.